content creators for that kind of game versus with
Yeah, so off the grid, obviously, I guess we're maybe a little late to this. It was really getting a lot of attention, about maybe 2 weeks ago. But it seemed like what off the grid did was just like pay a ton of money to a ton of big influencers. From what I heard, it was like millions of dollars to these big influencers to play the game and hype it up, get so many people involved, some of the big name Web2 influencers. But knowing that that's not sustainable, like you can't just keep paying these guys forever. Is that the blueprint? Is that what projects can look to do, or is it only temporary and then things fade off and they just go back to where they would have naturally gone?
I would love. I don't know if IC's still in the chat. I would absolutely love for him to come up if he's down for it. Just because I think a conversation I haven't played off the grid, but I have watched content. I've done a pretty extensive report on the influencer marketing campaign that they did, when they started, when they ended, how many people, the amount that they've spent. So I've got more of that analysis on it, and I'd love to hear someone else. But anyway, let's do it. Can we send IC the thing? But I mean, yeah, we'll start with Jimbo then. Jimbo, what are your thoughts on the whole off the grid thing?
I mean, it depends, right? Because with off the grid, it's a first person shooter first off, so it's easier just to straight up get into. So you're looking to specific content creators for that kind of game versus with Illuvium, you're looking towards TFT players, right? So I kind of, it just depends. It's not the same with this game versus that game. But I think personally, influencers are the way of the future, right? Regardless. So I don't have any problem with it. It just depends on the amount of money you're getting versus the amount of value you're getting out of it. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how to quantify that.
Yo, what's up,
I
IC?
see.
What's good?
What's going
I've
on,
been trying to get
boys?
you on as a guest for a full episode, and then it just takes you being in the chats and TSG to say something, and now you're in here. You're gonna have to come back for a full episode soon, all right? Come back for a full episode, but we got a couple of segments here.
Damn, I got put me on blast already. It's an honor to be here.
Well, welcome.
It's an honor to be here, man. Yeah, I saw TSG up here. Much love to Najafe and Jimbo. Guys, a big fan of the show. So, long time listener, first time caller. It's great to be here. Won't be my last time.
You're breaking up a little, at least on my end.
What we talking about?
Good.
All right, Brent, what are your thoughts? Because you're deeper into the, obviously my point of view is more Illuvium focused. You're more in tune with the wider Web3 gaming stuff. What are your, it's been, they launched on the 8th. It's now the 31st. So it's been about 2 to 3 weeks of up the grid. What are your thoughts on it? Like, you can go objective, subjective, whatever. Like, what are your thoughts on their marketing initiative? Was it the right time? Was it the right thing? Just do whatever you have in your mind and then put it all out there. I want to see what you think.
Yeah, sure. I mean, we spoke a little bit about it in the DMs. Personally, I loved so much of it. I was impressed by it. I thought it was friggin' awesome, right? Like, we were in the Pioneer program for the past 2-3 months, could play on the weekends, got a taste of the game, was having a bunch of fun. It was definitely not optimized. I think I started with like 15, 20 frames. It was terrible. Then Andy Claps had posted like a video on how to get more frames. I instantly got like 80, 90 frames per second, had a much better experience. Then out of nowhere, they dropped like a surprise Beyonce album. They're just like, boom, it's playable for anybody around the world. I immediately go to Twitter. I see Gaspode streaming off the grid, and I'm like, whoa, like, this is amazing. Then at like 12 o'clock that day, they're like, oh, hey, guess what? There's a Ninja content pack, and Ninja's going to be streaming at 2 p.m. And it's like, holy crap, they got Ninja. Like, this is a massive kind of like coming out the gate launch. Of course, it generated a ton of buzz, a ton of millions and millions of views, right? All the top streamers were streaming it. So many people talking about off the grid. But then, of course, we started to get a little bit of the FUD. The game's not optimized. And they really kind of came out. Well, let me say it this way. Cheaters like kind of quickly started getting into the game and kind of ruining experience. So yeah, I've been paying very, very close attention to this because, of course they launched on PlayStation 5. You can play it on Xbox. It's the first crypto game, Web3 enabled game on console. So that's like absolutely massive, right? So I think it's like really, really exciting. I think it bodes incredibly well for the entire space. I'm super excited and bullish on like the team and the game because I've been playing the game. I really, really enjoy it. I want them to win. I want them to succeed. They're out there kind of like taking all the arrows from the traditional gamers, kind of saying, oh, it's crypto. Oh, it's NFTs. We want nothing to do with it. Oh, it doesn't look good. Oh, it's unoptimized, which is true.
Yeah.
So we're anybody in this space, right? We're all kind of pioneers and like early to this industry and space. So I think that this is inevitably like a part of the adoption
Yeah.
curve and like what's going to happen, right? Illuvium's going to go through it. They are going through it. All of these games go through it. It's like a rite of passage at this point.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just like we're all just going to learn from it and kind of see and take away, and it's just ultimately going to make us stronger and better, like in an anti-fragile type of state. I will say, we're starting to see some things. So like Jonah even posted today saying that like he thinks it was a mistake for them to launch this early with the optimization issues with the cheaters and whatnot. So like it's a very interesting case study for sure. And Kyra was posting in our chat earlier, like I think Twitch viewers today was like under 200, which is like abysmal when you had 100,000 viewers on Twitch 2 weeks ago. I think in part they wanted to get out before Black Ops 6 came out.
Yeah.
And then also they are teasing like a massive announcement this Friday, November 1st. They say that a new content pack is coming that will set Twitter on fire. So I don't know who that's going to be because the first one was with Ninja. So
Yeah.
we'll see if like that kind of reignites the marketing and can bring more players in. I mean, only time as everything in like crypto and crypto gaming, like only time will tell, right?
Yeah. Man, amazing. I'm so glad. This is why I wanted to bring you into this because, yeah, I think if I'm looking at it objectively, so I'm going to tell you about the report that I did on it. So they essentially started their campaign on the 8th for the big influencers. They started the campaign on the 8th. They staggered it out. From the 8th to the 14th. I think was the last you saw the trickle of the big guys there.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had the most on the 11th, if I'm not mistaken, and that's when you saw the most views.
Mm-hmm.
And based on my calculation, understanding how these guys get paid and whatnot, it looks like there was, and I think I don't mind sharing this because one, I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but anyone that understands can figure it out themselves as well. But it looks like they spent a minimum of about $2 million in this.
Probably.
So yeah, so and I'm being pretty conservative there, I would say. So that I think if they did that and spent that, and now we're looking at even when I did the report on the 17th, I believe, which was like a week after. Well, regardless, there's like a 99, like you say, a 99% drop in viewership and exposure.
Mm-hmm.
So the objective of that marketing plan was to keep eyes on it. I don't know how it did. Someone else brought up a very good counter argument, saying that the most viewed guide on YouTube for Off the Grid had about 80,000 views, which means that at least, I mean, if you could take it and you can subtract some of the numbers, but we can expect at least 50,000 to 80,000 people that have played it. You wouldn't really look for a guide if you haven't downloaded it or played it yourself. So that was a fair point. And if you look at that, that's looking at about a $50 to $25 customer acquisition cost with that $2 million price tag, which actually is relatively okay. Like that's quite good. So if they have those people playing, amazing. I've seen some people mention on Twitter today or yesterday, definitely yesterday, I just woke up, but last night, about that there are like 6-minute waits for games or something like that now. I don't know if that's good or bad. Like that's generally what we had. Like we're getting that right now with our Gauntlet. We haven't done a big marketing push, but I mean, yeah, 6 minutes. Like, what are your thoughts? I know you wanted to say.
Yeah, no, the that is true. We jumped in some lobbies last night. Some of them took 3, 4 minute, 5 minutes. I saw Cairo saying like, yeah, lobbies were smaller. They shut down the US West server. not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
They are testing things and consolidating lobbies, and I think they pushed a patch through, and they were working on some stuff. So like all of this is still like it's early release, right? It's early alpha, and it's like testing in prod, like it's like launching in public and building in public.
Yeah.
So like
Which
time
we
will
can
tell,
relate.
right?
We can relate.
Yeah, right. I will say, like, if you track their like blockchain site,
Mm,
around the time that they launched, they maybe had like 3 million wallet addresses, and right now they're over 9 million wallet addresses. So
mm,
these are like a lot of new accounts that have come and signed up, and you can see like their total transactions and stuff like that, and you can track a lot of that on-chain activity. Now, some of that can be inflated artificially, bot activity, all that stuff, but like genuinely, I play the game every day, and like I'm opening up hexes, I'm buying things on the marketplace because I'm like customizing my loadouts and stuff like that. So like
mm,
the most exciting thing is just like how fun the game is, and how well the like crypto web3 integration and elements have been done on the marketplace.
mm.
It's seamless for like a gamer, and like I think it's a really great use case for like crypto. And I'm like generating on-chain activity, and I'm happy to do it. I bought the battle pass. It's like $12 a month. I'm like,
Right.
I feel like I get so much value from that battle pass that I'll pay that for the next 2-3 years, like happily, like
Right.
I'll forget about it and just be like, oh, like whatever. So like
One of the stuff that keeps going.
I think that they've done a lot of interesting things and a lot of things right that other games and people can like look to. Are they
Mm,
perfect? Like, no. And
yeah.
are there issues with the game? Like, yeah, sure. I would point one other thing I want to make a point to. I would definitely, if you're interested or anyone interested, follow Theodore Argonaut on Twitter. He's their director of Web3, and he spoke with Andy Slaps, and Andy Slaps like was grilling him with like questions. Is like the game's unoptimized, and he said what you guys are saying. Like Andy said to his face, he's like, this marketing push is great, but the game is so unoptimized that probably half, if not more, of the people that try to play it are gonna quit and not play it again because they had a bad
That's my issue.
experience.
I don't have a computer strong enough to even try to play it. And once I heard it wasn't optimized, I was just like, I guess I'll just wait until
Yeah,
my computer can handle it.
yeah. And it's a fantastic point, right? Theodore and Andy made a video of this. It's like 3 or 4 minutes long. Theodore had a really great answer to it. He's out here publicly kind of taking that criticism, kind of like Kieran does, and it's like, hey, here's what we think, and here's how our approach to it. So I had a lot of respect for Theodore and just the Gunzilla team
Yeah.
in how they're still like Web3 focused, because this was the day after the game launched, and he came on Doug Hype's like Hyped Space,
Hmm.
which is a very core Web3 gaming audience. When he's got Ninja streaming the game, he came to talk to us like Web3 degens and gamers. So I really respected that. And his answer was like, listen, like we want to bring this game to 100 million players. So like we need to test the servers, we need to test the game, we need to
Yeah.
launch to a few million, to a few 100,000. We had to come out and get this launch out so that we could like get that feedback and see where it's going to break.
Yeah, I mean, depending on how much capital they have in their treasury and whatnot, like if that's the price that it takes to get that data, and I mean, if they can do it, it makes sense. Like that's a logical reasoning. Look, I think the marketing push was phenomenal. Like I know how hard it is to put something like that together and actually execute it at the
Yeah.
level that they did.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. The eyes that they got on it, incredible. I think the timing, I don't know. Again, from the outside looking in, I don't know the internal decisions.
Yeah.
Outside looking in, I'm like, maybe not the right decision, but maybe they had a reason for it. I do wish them nothing but the best. I think that Off the Grid is by far one of the top names in the space right now that has that potential. It is on PS5, it is on Xbox. It's being like it's starting. You could even see, I forget the guy's name, it might be Tim the Tatman, that was saying, like, kind of understanding the benefits of the digital assets
Yeah.
inside of games. And so I think they've done a great service, a great job to the Web3 community,
Yeah.
Web3 gaming in general, and they pushed us forward in a huge way. And I'm very excited to see where they keep going. I don't think this is the end at all.